to be. We should probably limit it and do another Star Wars one at some point.
Well, yeah.
Kind of like what we did with the Marvel one not too long ago.
Yeah. I definitely want to talk about the future of
the predictions and stuff. But well, okay. First of all, hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to. You can say it this time.
Pick It and Flick It podcast.
Okay. Got it. Now that I know what our title is,
we'll get there.
My name is Vox,
and I'm Luke.
And today we're talking about my second favorite
of a franchise that the both of us would say we're pretty big fans of. I'd say, not so much as of late, but
I'm still pretty fanny.
We're talking about the very first Star Wars spinoff, 2015's mess known as Rogue One, A Star Wars Story.
You know, I really didn't think it was a mess until you started pointing out more and more shit to me, and I'm actually mad at you that you've done this to me.
I've kind of ruined it.
I can't believe you've done this.
Oh no.
But why? Like, where did that come from?
What do you mean?
Like, where you texted me 2 days ago and we're like, hey, let's do Rogue One.
Well, okay, so one thing to know about me is I love to watch, like, for some reason I love to see like what companies' financials are doing, what they're planning behind the scenes, like future movies they're tinkering with, shit like that. And very recently, not to get too off track, but they've been talking about decanonizing the Disney Star Wars sequel trilogy, and it got me thinking about Rogue One and how I know a lot of people who really like it, and I know a lot of people who don't really like it. And I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I like a lot of stuff, and I don't like a lot of stuff. And I just wanted to finally talk about a Star Wars movie, I guess.
Okay. Well, as I just mentioned, this is my second, and even though like my second favorite, even though this is my third time watching it,
right?
I still think it sits there.
Okay.
I still think it sits there. Do you have your list of what are you pulling that up right now?
I was going to pull it up.
Because I can rattle mine off probably real fast.
Again, if you want to follow me on Letterboxd, Confused Reviews, I post stuff there occasionally.
I really need to get back.
It's nice because then I can just look up.
I've been doing my other podcast stuff, and I'm just writing a whole bunch right now for that.
Right.
And then I'll record it all, so I haven't even done anything with movies. But as far as like my lineup, and
right.
let's see what it compares to yours. Empire, Rogue One,
okay,
Revenge of the Sith,
okay,
then A New Hope, Return of the Jedi, okay, Attack of the Clones,
okay,
Force Awakens, Phantom Menace, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Solo.
Okay.
Solo's
last. Okay, Solo is higher than Rogue One on my list.
I don't think Solo is a bad movie, but I literally had to watch it like 4 times before I was like,
well, it's interesting you say that, because for both of the Star Wars spinoffs for me, I feel like there were 2 great movies there that were just completely, the ball was dropped. Both with Rogue One in terms of its extensive reshoots, that if you have an IQ somewhere in double digits,
yes,
and you watch the trailer and then watch the movie, you'll see that a lot of those trailer shots are nowhere to be seen. And Solo had to suffer with getting its directors fired, even though they should have known that Chris Lord and Phil Miller, I might have just said those names incorrectly or backwards, I don't really care. You should have known what kind of movie you were gonna get from them would be like a tongue-in-cheek kind of action comedy, and it seems to me like they saw the first cut of the movie and were like, well, we weren't looking for this. Like, what? So I have Rogue One at 6th place.
Okay.
In my Star Wars lineup.
Go from the top down. Number 1.
Okay, and again, just like with the Marvel ones, like I rewatched my
they changed.
Far From Home.
Yeah,
it's pretty different now. About a year later.
Yeah,
but
sure.
as it sits, which the top ones don't tend to change ever.
Yeah,
obviously, it's Empire and Star Wars at 5 stars, and then Return of the Jedi, which is still really good, but I'd say it's got some things that are in it.
Yeah.
Then I got Mandalorian season 1, which I don't know if that counts, but I'm gonna put it in there.
Okay.
And then it's a pretty steep drop from there with Solo and Rogue One. Pretty much interchangeably. especially on this rewatch of Rogue One,
Yeah.
I found stuff that I didn't know I liked until I rewatched it.
Okay.
So just like how you said, you kind of noticed some flaws. I noticed some things that I didn't know I liked.
Okay.
And-
That's fair. That's fair.
And then Force Awakens is what I'd say the middle between the good ones and the bad ones. I'd say it's right in the middle for me
Ooh.
because I loved Force Awakens when it came out.
I did too, though.
Mhm.
I did.
And I think hindsight's kind of definitely taken over for the both of us.
Yeah.
When we first saw it, I think it was kind of like, holy shit,
Finally.
we're seeing Star Wars.
Yeah, finally.
And now I look back on it and I'm like, yeah, it is kind of just a New Hope again.
Right. Right.
But then Revenge of the Sith, which I just told you recently I've come around on. I didn't like it for a long time. Then Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace, and the Holiday Special. So
Oh, okay. Well,
those are just all garbage. After that, fuck them. I don't care.
yeah. I mean, so, and before we get into dissecting Rogue One,
Right.
and because it's funny, it's really funny that we're saying like, I came around to like this, or I'm like, no, I don't really like that, or whatever. I think Revenge of the Sith is really good, but it gets to the point where it's so drawn out in that movie. And it's the same thing with Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
The first half is really drawn out. Like, it's so long.
It's very dry.
It's so long.
Lot
and then once you
of
get
love scenes.
Yeah, and then once you get to where like the Clone Wars begin, and they're, in the arena and they're doing all the lightsaber fighting and shit, it's so fast. Like that part, it's just like, whoa, like this.
It goes from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, and I'm segueing this into Rogue One because
a Star Wars story.
I feel like this movie was really fast, and it's 2 hours long for me because, again, why we liked Force Awakens is because holy shit, we're seeing Star Wars.
It's Star Wars, yeah.
And what was it? 2 years later that it came out?
A year.
A year. It
yeah.
was almost a year to the date, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out in December. Both of them did.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I was just so amped up because
Right.
I was like, okay, we're not going to see something new. We're going to see something that's already in a canonized form that we've seen. The Death Star, Darth Vader, and Stormtroopers, and blah, blah, blah. It wasn't like weird lightsabers with two little things off the side.
Yeah.
And these weird, people that are going back and forth that have no history with anything that we know.
It was. This is the best prequel that we've ever seen in terms of Star Wars films. to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is the
uh,
best prequel, yeah.
And I'm sure we'll get into this pretty heavily, but the fan service is probably the thing to me, outside of the script, that really bogs this movie down for me.
Well, let's just jump right into the fan service.
Okay.
Because that, to me, and that's why I was, again, another weird segue here,
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing that was just so fucking cool for me. Because I
Okay.
was like, first of all, and we've said this 4 or 5 times while we just watched this movie, it's visually stunning.
Yes.
This movie is fucking gorgeous.
It is.
So we're like that opening scene where you get the spaceship coming down, Krennic's spaceship, and it lands, and you're like, oh my god! I was just so
Right.
amped up for that shit.
And even though it's kind of dumb that they park so far away, the
I know,
shot is.
I knew
is,
you were gonna say that. It is absolutely stunning, but it goes all the way through that. We go immediately from there to another planet where we see stormtroopers, and then we go from there. We go to another planet where we're seeing like creatures that we're familiar with and droids and stuff. So immediately, the fan service for me, man, I was like, God damn. I'm appreciating that as a fan.
Well, that's the thing is, like I was saying, when they first get to the Jeddah, when they're in the town,
Yes.
that's great. It's just enough to where it feels like a big universe, but it's not all up in your face.
And
then,
it's got that Mos Eisley.
Same kind of grimy feel to it.
Yeah, a lot of people around.
Which is
creatures.
what one of the biggest things I attribute to Star Wars
Right.
is it's about scrappy underdog characters in a filthy environment most of the time.
Right.
But then, like I was saying on this rewatch 5 minutes ago, they ruin it instantly by having the "You'll Be Dead" guy. What?
Oh, yeah.
Why?
So
why is he
okay.
there?
I'm gonna everything that you say that you're saying it's being ruined. Can we move this real quick? There's like a camera in between us.
We have a
that I-
tripod.
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm like looking through it. Sorry.
Well, it's got a camera on it.
It does, but I just feel like I'm.
There we go.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Okay.
So anything that you say is like, why is this happening? As like the fanboy, I'm gonna argue with it.
Okay.
Okay. Why that's there for me, the way I look at that, is because
To sell action figures.
No. His statement. Do you remember what he says when we see him?
You'll be dead.
Yeah, but his whole
He's
thing-
wanted on 12 systems.
Okay. That's it right there.
Right.
So he's a traveler and he's a crime guy.
Yes.
He's a smuggler or drugs or whatever he's
Assassin,
doing.
something.
Yeah, well, he's definitely not an assassin. That guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
But he's obviously doing
Clumsy.
some drugs. Have you seen his nose? So that whole thing is like perfect for me because it's showing a relativity between one area into another. Now, your argument, go ahead and say it. Go ahead and say it.
How?
I agree with you.
How did he get
I
off?
agree
How
with
did
you.
they get off? Okay. I wouldn't mind that they're there. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, logically,
I'm going to argue this again.
it doesn't make sense to me that as soon as they're done talking, they would, because that's the only
Yeah.
way it would make sense. They
I
would,
know.
like 5 minutes after they talk to them, they would have had to have gotten on a ship, gotten off of the planet that's about to explode, only to go to almost an identical desert planet to sit in another cantina, only to die. Well, not die. We don't
Probably dead.
probably
Probably dead.
he got his arm cut off.
Probably dead, though.
I don't know what happened to the guy with nuts on his face. I don't know if
Uh,
that's ever confirmed.
I don't know. But here, okay. My argument to that is,
Uh-huh.
in that scene, in that movie portion when they're on that planet, time is not brought to our attention. So they walk from the city to Forrest Whitaker's hideout. What's his place? Or what's his name? Why am I drawing?
Saw?
Yeah, Saw Guerra. Why can't I remember his name?
Guevara?
I can't
Like-
remember
like
his
Che?
name right now. all of a
Che
sudden.
Guevara?
We just watched this movie for 2 hours and I can't remember.
That's that.
I know,
I'm
I
glad
know.
you did that because it's gonna
I know.
help me out later.
But so this guy runs into them.
Right.
Then they get in a group, or they do the whole fight scene, which probably took 20 minutes to a half hour. Then they walk from the city to the hideout, which that takes like 2-3 hours.
well, yeah, did you
So
see
at
that
the-
big ass statue that's falling over?
Right.
It's gonna take a second.
So that at that point, from the time that he bumped into them, it's already been 6 hours. So at that point, they're like, "Well, we're already kind of buzzed, but we don't want to stay here, so let's get in our ship and leave."
Yeah,
I'm just gonna argue like the because you don't know.
I
the
get
time.
it.
You don't know the time.
I just that one. If it were just that one, I might be able to give it a pass. But then, like I said, the C-3PO, the infamous, where the movie just kind of stops for about 30 seconds to say, "Hey guys, C-3PO and R2-D2 here, checking in. Can't wait to see you guys in the next movie. All right, see you later."
Again,
I think that was that the exact dialogue.
pretty close.
All right.
I don't even know what they said. I was just like, "Oh my god!"
Exactly. You clapped.
Yeah.
You saw something you knew.
This whole movie was something that I knew, though. We've
Yeah.
seen familiar.
It took a plot hole from 40 years ago and said, here's $200 million. Do something.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. The R2 and C-3PO thing again. Yeah, that one is way more. That one's way
That one's like
more.
as on the nose as you could make it.
That's way more fan service than the "You'll Be Dead" guy.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly. Whoa, easy on the voice crack. there.
Every episode.
I know.
You
But
should hear my raw audio for the reviews, dude.
oh, it's probably fantastic. And 12-year-old boy in the closet.
I know. Can you
recording.
believe that?
Um,
I'm an
But
adult.
as far as that goes for fan service, it's a little much.
Right.
I agree.
Okay.
But
But
there are 2 rebel droids. They are fucking around, following the princess or being sent all over the place. But where were they at the end of episode 3?
weren't they with somebody?
Yeah, they were. And that somebody is in that temple with Mon Mothma.
Mon Mothma.
Mothma. Yeah, the lady.
Mon Mothball.
One of the one of the ladies. So
Right, but wouldn't they be up on the Star Destroyer?
no, they're not. Why would they be in a Star Destroyer?
Or not the where episode 4 starts, where Princess Leia
So
is.
they obviously are, but we don't see that.
But I'm saying, why aren't they there now?
But okay, listen. They obviously got there.
What, 5 seconds after the camera turned off of them? That's what I'm saying.
You know what I think that you do too much of?
think logically?
No. You think too hard into it.
Okay, so you're saying I look too far into it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things that can be happening at the time that you have to, and this is just, you know why I think this way?
'Cause you
I'm
wanted
not even
to-
joking. Dungeons and Dragons, because
Okay.
time is not a relevancy when you're playing Dungeons and
Like
Dragons.
it's like Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z, where they're
Yeah.
like, you have 5. I don't know shit about anime, but I know about how they say you have 5 minutes and then they'll fight for
3
80
episodes.
hours. Yeah.
3 episodes long. Yeah, it's the exact same thing. So they're there because they were with what's his name, who adopted Leia, and then they're obviously getting on a ship and they're on their way. So you're looking too far into it. Is like, why are they there? They're there.
I'm not
because-
upset. I'm just saying.
No, but they're there because of fan service. Like that's why.
It just seems blatant to me.
Yeah,
That's
and it is blatant, but that's the point of it, because it's like, this is a prequel to the first Star Wars movie. Like literally taking place right before.
I was gonna say I'll give them, they bridged the gap pretty
Yeah.
fucking well.
I mean, right before.
But there are some dare I say it, discrepancies.
Okay, what now? Continue.
If you would humor me and try to defend the Grand Moff Tarkin video game segments of the film.
I don't think it was that bad, man.
I remember when they announced that he was coming back, there was such an uproar about it. You remember this?
Yeah, a little
Back in Jesus, what is that? Almost 5 years ago now.
bit. Yeah.
Or was this
probably.
20? This would be 4 years ago. 2016 was Rogue
Is it
One.
16 or 15?
2015 was Force Awakens.
Oh, okay. So
But yeah, I like we were discussing earlier, I don't mind that he's in the movie. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, it's disrespect." Like, no, I don't care about that. If
Right.
you want to make a good story and you got to do it, go ahead.
right.
Especially if you're trying to be as authentic and close to as you can, that's fine with me.
Right.
But they could have just done reflections, shadows, kind of kept them out of the spotlight. They really tried to get him in there, and it does not look very good.
So explain what you think should have been done on that.
I don't mind that he's there, like I said, but I wish instead of full face, the Irishman style, where it's clearly not him, and it just like that part of your brain is saying that's not real. It doesn't look right.
Right.
They should have just had, like in the beginning of the scene, you said that it looks really good because it was just the back of his head. Whoever they got for his voice, fucking spot on.
Right.
But then as soon as he turns around, it looks like you're playing a video game.
I wouldn't go that far, but I kind of agree with you
Mm-hmm.
to the extent where they should have been a little bit more artistic with it and led on to, like, we already know who this is.
They should have tried to be more creative with it. It was easy, obviously not money wise, because God knows how much that must have cost to render.
Oh, sure.
But
That's why he's only in 2 scenes.
it would have been, I think, more creative to me if they would have, I don't know, had his reflection in Krennic's eye, or just in reflections of
on the window.
of the windows, you
Yeah.
know, stuff like that, where he's there, and if you know what to look for, you realize they're not showing him on purpose, but also it doesn't make it so that I completely forget what they're talking about, because all I can focus on is how he doesn't look real.
Sure. And I mean, while we're doing the CGI thing, it's the same at the end.
Yep,
With
with everyone's favorite.
So, and I totally agree with you. They should have just had it be like over their shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
or half in the shadow thing. So they would only have to CGI an eyebrow, an eyeball, and a cheekbone, you know, and a little bit of a
Maybe
mouth
like
movie.
maybe just a head turn. You only get half a face.
Yeah.
You know, anything.
Yeah, and I think that'd be really cool if we got and maybe that was an initial idea, and then the Simps were like, no, bring it
The
out,
Simps.
bring it out, you know.
Well, that's the thing. Is like I was saying. I wonder, because they reportedly reshot a lot
Oh,
of
I'm
this movie.
Sure, they did.
What isn't there? Because surprisingly, there aren't any deleted scenes on the DVD or Disney or any release of it That footage has to exist somewhere.
Weren't they talking about doing that, like pulling a Snyder?
Well, ever since the Snyder Cut was officially announced, the floodgates have been open. Suicide Squad director's cut, Batman Forever director's cut, even though Joel Schumacher passed away this year, and all the deleted scenes are on YouTube already. Like, I don't. Not to get too off topic, but yeah, I don't know what I guess the director's cut craze is inbound, so maybe we will get a Rogue One.
I just wanted to do a quick little Google here, and it says Rogue One director on why we'll probably never see the original ending.
It's hidden next to Walt Disney's head.
Yeah, in
the
freezer,
vaults.
in the freezer,
in the salt mines.
I mean, this is a big article, so I'm not going to read it, but I guess, or not read it while we're recording, but
just word for word.
I guess I'd be curious to see if that ever comes out.
I don't know, because obviously, I was sending you all that stuff on the Rise of Skywalker, the Lucas cut or whatever, where apparently spoilers. Also,
oh boy.
I realized we never did that. We're spoiling all of Rogue One. Everyone fucking dies. Deal with it. Then again, you should know that.
Yeah, this is a 4-year-old movie.
Not even that. In the original Star Wars, they say they died to get us the whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Apparently, plosive. Apparently, George Lucas had some involvement with the Rise of Skywalker, like edit, because it went through tons of reshoots, tons of rewrites, tons of re-edits, and apparently in his cut there was a scene where Anakin Skywalker comes, like Hayden Christensen, comes and talks to Rey, and then that scene where Han Solo talks to Ben for some reason, even though he's not a ghost, he's a memory. I don't fucking know. Apparently Luke and Leia were supposed to show up, and that was going to be like the only time we see all three of them, and that was cut out, I guess. I know we're getting off of Rogue One, but
oh Jesus.
So it is kind of relevant, I guess.
As far as the director,
it just feels like no one's allowed to have a vision anymore, and it's.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily, and this goes with Rogue One too. I don't know if it's necessarily like we're gonna take your vision away, but if it's not making sense as far as the fan service goes, and that's straight up right now because Lucasfilm is owned by Disney,
right?
So they are not focused on so much the canon and
telling
canonizing
a compelling
things.
Story. They just want to make money.
They just want to make that money, and to be honest with you, we're always going to see these movies. Let's be real. The second a new one comes out, we're going to be the first in the theater to see it. But
I understand Disney's want and need to make money. They spent $4 billion to buy this.
Right.
I think if you spent that much money on anything, you'd want to see some return.
You'd milk that shit dry.
But also, you have one of the most passionately loved things to come out of fiction ever.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're like, for the sequel trilogy, they let someone drive at the wheel blindfolded, and then with these ones, they like almost let you do what you wanted, but then right before release, you take it away and fix it to where it's worse.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, as we focus on all the negative here, you said that there are some things that you kind of came around to that you started to like. We'll turn to the positive and end on a positive.
Well, yeah, definitely. Like I said, I don't hate this movie. I'd give it 3 out of 5 stars, which is above average.
Okay.
I mean, the visuals are fucking stunning.
Absolutely.
Maybe the best looking Star Wars thing
to date. I think so.
Potentially.
I think we could.
The score is pretty good. The only one I would have changed is, I noticed this too, when she's like at the end when they're in that like claw machine file joint and they're like climbing, the music's a little weird. It's like really loud and like dun 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 dun. Like I would have changed that. Little strange to me.
Okay.
But other than that, the score is really good. What else do I have written down? The sound design is really good. All the pews and pows and explosions.
And the thing that I really appreciated with the sound design, because I was thinking the same thing, all of the X-Wings from the past, I don't know, 6 movies or so, have all sounded the same, which is great. I mean, to me as a fan, that's like a familiar sound. Some of the guns, obviously different amount, like I don't know, the different models of the weaponry.
Well, the
sound
guy
different.
who might have a name.
Yeah,
with the
Machine
big
Gun Joe. Yeah,
Machine Gun
Kelly.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super fast laser rifle man.
Asian Matthew McConaughey. I don't know.
No, he's not Asian. He's like Hawaiian.
Chinese. I don't
Oh
know.
no, you're talking about the guy with the stick or the fast gun?
No, I'm not talking about Donnie Yen. I'm talking about.
Oh well, he's not Chinese. No, he's like
90% sure
he's
he's
like
Chinese.
Hawaiian.
Maybe.
I'd argue with that. I think he's Hawaiian.
I don't know. Doesn't
Anyways,
even, doesn't
I
even
like
matter.
I like his character. I don't know his name.
That's the thing is he doesn't have a character. He has a gun.
Yeah.
That's what he has, and that's. We're jumping back into the negatives, I guess.
I know.
But that to me is the biggest flaw with Rogue One, is it doesn't have characters I care about. The only one I do, and he's the best part of the movie, is K2SO, the robot.
I love him.
He's the best.
I love him.
Every line he says is either funny or like interesting, and Alan Tudyk, shout out to him. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil is the tits.
So good. So good.
He's the best character in the movie, without a doubt.
I think they were trying to do that too, because droid action figures are cool, man.
Right.
Like you can sell.
People
that shit.
love the robots.
Yeah.
I mean, look at C-3PO and R2-D2.
Oh, absolutely. The most iconic robots in the
Ever,
fucking world.
yeah.
You know, the one robot that I didn't like, and this is just kind of swapping over to the other prequel sequel, or
Solo.
Yeah, Solo.
Oh, was the SJW.
Whatever.
The one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, straight up SJW.
Who Lando was fucking,
Yeah,
maybe?
Yeah, the one that Lando had like a really secret love affair with, and that ended up getting uploaded into the Millennium Falcon.
Which
anyways,
is crazy to me that they managed to make this droid in this movie like the best character,
and then
in
one
Solo,
the shittiest.
she's the worst character in the movie.
And I can already hear people saying like, not that anyone's gonna really watch this, but
Right.
I can hear people say like, "Oh, it's because she was a female droid." Like,
No.
no, bitch.
No, it was
sit down.
It was because her character was being obnoxious and loud and annoying.
That's it. They're pushing it, and that's what I really also liked. Like, I guess we're flopping back and forth between the positive. and the
That's
negative.
kind of how I feel about this movie.
That's what I really liked about Jyn Erso, though. She wasn't like forced. She wasn't a forced character, you know? Like, she just kind of came out and was like, yeah, my parents, you know, my mom got shot. My dad was basically the bad guy, and I'm a kind of a thug running around. She wasn't like in your face, like, I'm going to kill
Big
you
and sassy,
and save the world. Like, no, she was just like, shit, we got to do this.
And that's the thing, too, is like, I feel like she had the closest to development, but again, there isn't enough, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like this movie needed to be very character focused and be like I said, like a heist movie where it's a fun, spunky group of.
Well, you said Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11, yeah.
That's a great comparison.
Logan Lucky, even like
Yeah.
Any heist movie that is done well, you'll notice has great characters that you want to see succeed. Because obviously, you're going into Rogue One, everyone's gonna fucking die. The least you can do is hope to enjoy watching these characters succeed.
Well,
and you don't care about any of them.
See, did they really need to kill him, though? Did they need to kill all of them?
They didn't need to kill. I'm surprised they didn't let one of them live.
I'm surprised they didn't let Cassian live.
Why?
Because he's kind of like that, fly by the seat of his pants kind of guy. And
Maybe-
he already
maybe-
said,
Maybe like because every heist movie has that sabotage double cross. He could have double crossed them and escaped.
yeah.
Something like that even.
But Urso could have even lived because she was another one who didn't have like super hardcore ties to the rebellion. She just knew it was the right thing to do.
Maybe the pilot, who I don't know his name, pilot guy,
Goggles boy.
Ponytail.
Yeah.
He's an excellent actor. I don't know if you've ever seen Nightcrawler with
I did.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But in this movie, he shows up. He's built up as like the most important guy. Like
he's the messenger.
He gets mind raped by a tentacle squid
Yeah,
thing.
some weird hentai in the beginning of the
and
movie.
then he plugs in an extension cord and dies. That's literally all he does.
And why didn't he grab that thermal detonator and rip that bitch right back
I
at
don't
him,
know.
you know?
Or like even like
punt that shit, boy.
even like maybe a heroic like dive onto the grenade moment, like anything other than and then he dies. Like
Yeah, he could have grabbed that thing and shot it right between his legs back at those guys.
Yeah, I feel
Probably
like
mid-explosion, too.
this movie would have benefited from maybe you don't even need to delete characters, but like I don't know, maybe condense the group a little bit. Like I said, the gun guy doesn't matter, the pilot doesn't matter. Forrest Whitaker could have been the exposition guy. He could have been the wise, experienced guy. Because like you said, I haven't seen the Clone Wars.
Yeah,
You said he's a big deal. And
he has a huge, like, in the Clone... This is how it lays out his character in the Clone Wars.
Mhm.
He literally helps... He gets trained by the Republic. Like, Ahsoka comes and is like, hey, we're going to help you here. Him and his sister do a huge attack on the Confederacy, the droids, that are taking over this planet, and they liberate an entire planet.
Yeah.
So he's got some shit under his belt, man. Like,
But
he
in this
knows
movie,
what's good. And
he talks like an idiot and can't walk, and then he says,
breathe.
I'm not running anymore. What do you mean running? We've seen you for one scene.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Is this movie needed... It needed, like... God knows that would never happen, but you need a Tarantino-style script where the characters are good and they're going to get something. That's all you needed. The Jin and Galen, her dad.
Yeah.
That could have been the beginning. Keep sprinkling that throughout. Keep that bond. Like they should have had a scene where he's teaching her to shoot or literally anything.
Yeah.
Besides, you're my daughter, so you need to save me.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah, I feel you.
And that's the thing is like everything else in this movie works.
I mean, the fight scene at the end was dope.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Another thing is Donnie Yen's character, blind guy.
Oh.
That's all the characters in this movie. You just described them as their one thing. Like, girl, murderer guy, droid, gun guy, pilot, no legs.
Blind guy
with a stick who has an excellent choreographed stunt fight scene pretty early on when they were still on Jeddah. And then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, he walks across the battlefield and doesn't get shot.
yeah, until he does.
And he doesn't get shot. He gets blown up.
He gets blown up. That's true.
Yeah.
And then gun guy, they give that real dramatic sting as if I'm supposed to care, and I'm thinking, I don't even know your fucking name.
Yeah.
Why are you spending so much time on this?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was bummed when K2SO died, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then they and then they tried to force Jin and
Cassian.
Accent Man to they suddenly love each other, even though, like we were saying, I think they said like 3 sentences to each other.
Yeah, and all the sentences was like, "You're gonna kill me with that gun."
Yeah.
And she's like, "No," and then she goes, "You're gonna kill my dad with that gun," and he's like, "No."
Literally, it was you did bad thing. No, you did bad thing. No, we love each other. What?
Yeah, kiss me. We're all gonna die, even though they didn't kiss. But
what's a worse romance, Jin and Cassian or Rey and Ben? What's worse? What was done worse? Probably.
I don't know. Rey and Ben.
Rey and Ben was pretty bad.
Yeah, Rey and Ben's bad.
Yikes.
I
still think Finn and Poe should have been together.
Well, what's your verdict here?
Just a sigh.
Pickett's a good thing, right?
I would
say pick it, because if you're a Star Wars fan, you should acknowledge the fact that bad things are okay to exist, because that's how you move on.
That's the other thing. One more thing before we give the verdict is the tone of this movie was pretty divisive. It still is, I think. People saying, "Oh, I don't want my Star Wars movies to be grim and dark," and all I can think is my favorite one is grim and dark. Literally, Empire Strikes Back ends with
the darkest
everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
What do we do?
Yeah.
So I'm fine with that. I don't have a problem with all the characters dying or it being dour as fuck. Just make me care about it.
Yeah.
You know? So take away all the Star Wars stuff. This is just generic action heist movie with characters you don't care about. So not to draw this out even further, I'd say pick it if you're a fan like Vox, who likes the shiny metal object in front of your face mentality of Star Wars.
Yep.
And if you're someone like me who's just kind of an asshole, I'd say you don't have to, but there's a lot of technical aspects that are fucking gorgeous that I would say should be like taught, because that, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Look at that shot of the Star Destroyer, and it like pans the shadow away and it reveals that big Death Star.
Yeah.
That's
there's
nice.
There's some good shots in this.
That's
sure.
nice.
But pick that shit all day long. That's what I say.
Okay.
Just saying, it's not the best thing, but I definitely would watch it again.
No, I understand completely. I don't hate this movie.
Right.
That's why I wanted to do this one
Yeah,
before
we're
we
kinda-
did anything else.
We're kind of in the middle. Oh yeah, because the next one you might.
Because if we did any of the, if we did Rise of Skywalker or even like the Phantom Menace, like,
That's bad.
and no thanks.
And we will do them.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll
We
get
will.
through the whole franchise at some point.
For
Like
sure.
you said, we want to do the predictions and I don't know, what do we call it? The State of the Star Wars Address.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure that out when we get there, because I feel like stuff.
They let their grenade
every
blow up
month.
in their hands, and now we have to figure out what's going
How to
on.
put their fingers back on.
Yeah, God.
for sure. Well, there it is.
Is that end?
That's a long. What time we got?
What are we at?
Like 35 minutes. So
That's
just-
a good.
Yeah.
Good. We didn't. There was pretty much no dead air. We were going.
Yes, that's our average time. We
Yeah.
did that's about it. You got a new video coming out,
I do. Hope and pray it's coming out sooner rather than later.
so get that sub on. Is what you're saying?
Well, I didn't even plug. Confused Reviews
Get that sub on.
is my channel. If you want to go check it out. I know it looks like I died, but there is a banger of a video on the way.
And then a sequel.
And then after that, and then we've got we got something good cooking.
Oh God, I cannot wait for the public to see
I
that.
cannot wait.
Hopefully it'll.
Maybe
be the
we'll
one.
do that movie.
Oh,
On
it's
the
like a tie-in.
podcast, as a tie-in.
It's a good tie-in.
Because this one cost some. We spent some an undisclosed amount of money on a bit that I hope pays off.
It's like $500.
No, nowhere near that much money. The most I've ever spent on an episode was the Freddy mask, which was
yeah,
$250.
$250. Yeah, that's still fun to watch.
Hell yeah!
It's still fun to watch.
Let me tell you, viewers, I have not made even 1% of that much money from these videos.
You didn't even monetize.
Up until recently, and I don't even think I've gotten enough to get paid yet.
Dope. Even
Even though I get some decent.
Sub to that, but also sub to us and
Pick it and flick it.
and share it. I don't care if you like the video or not. Just share
Yeah,
it.
even if you tell.
Don't even hit the like button. I don't give a fuck about that.
I'm sure
Just-
you agree with one of the two of our opinions, so
Yeah.
let us know.
We've been getting an average of like 80 to 100 views on every video now, so I'm really happy with that.
Well, I feel like this one will probably get some engagement. Star Wars fans are pretty adamant.
That's fine. I'll agree with you all day long. Let's go.
yeah.
It's time for your bedtime.
No, you're the one yawning over there.
I am yawning, but your voice is cracking, so you need to.
Well, that'll happen regardless.
You need to drink some tea and take a nap.
With my Steve Buscemi voice.
Thank you for listening
Thank you for
or watching.
I don't know.
We don't really have to watch. You just put it on YouTube and you're fine.
Unless you want to watch my beautiful thumbnails and work in action.
Yeah, those are nice.
They're all right. Have a good night. Stay safe. Wash your hands, all that shit.